I've been using TradingView for more than 7 years, and I've probably spent close to 10,000 hours in this app. So I know my way around, and in this video I'll show you everything that you need to know about TradingView and how to use it to get the most out of this app. And underneath this video there's going to be a timestamp so that you can jump around to different chapters to find what you're looking for. And we're going to go step by step through all of the different things here. So first of all, we have our chart area here in the center. I will show you how to manage it, how to get split screens and how to have multiple charts. Then here on the left hand side you have the drawing menu. So you have all your drawing tools here on the left. I will show you tips and tricks on how to use them and how to set up a better custom experience. Here are some other very helpful tools that we'll go through. At the top, first of all, here you can change the symbol that you're looking at. So right now we are on the Euro US dollar. You just click here and then you can type in anything. You can jump through the different categories as well. A little tip, you don't have to click here. If you are just here in the center, you can just start typing on your keyboard and then you will see that the same thing happens and you can just pull up any chart here very easily. Then you can change between the time frames here, 15 minute, 30, 1 hour and so on and so forth. Here, when you click on this arrow pointing down, you will have more custom time frames available. You can also create new time frames. So here at the bottom, you can see there is an area where you can click in. So for example, if you want to have 20 minute, you can just click on add and now we have it here, 20-minute time frame. And that is how you can manage it. You can see there are little stars. So if you tick and untick them, they will be added here to this quick select bar. So if you don't want to have the 30 anymore, you can see now it is here. We can unclick the icon or the star. And then, for example, we want to have the 12 hour. Now we remove the 30 minute and we have the 12 hour here. You can change between the different visualizations. This is regular candlesticks, hollow candles, the line graph, the area chart. But TradingView also offers Heiken Ashi, Renko, Kagi, point and figure and other things. But for the most part, I guess most will stay on the candlesticks. Little tip, if you want to change the visualization, you can just right click on your mouse and then under settings, you go to symbol and here you can change the coloring of your candles. If you don't like the red and green, you can just change it around and you can see there are so many different things. We will go into that in depth later. Then you can, for example, compare it. So right now we have the US dollar, Japanese yen, but let's assume we want to compare it to the Euro US dollar. So we click on it, then you get this compare symbol thing, Euro US dollar. We want to go to the all, or you can also go to Forex to get the right one. And you can see now after a short loading time, this is the Euro US dollar. Because of the scaling issue, you may have to zoom out or adjust it a little bit. So you can see it doesn't automatically always work perfectly, but it gives you a good indication. I will show you later how to do that in a different way as well. And then here, whenever you add something to your chart, you will see it here. So US dollar yen, this is the main symbol that we're looking at. It's the one represented with the candlesticks. And we added the Euro US dollar, which is now the one in orange. You can nicely see here next to the Euro US dollar, there's this orange percentage number. So it shows that this is the orange graph. If you want to hide it, you just click on this eye icon and then it's gone. You can obviously also change the settings for everything and you can delete it as well. Okay, a little tip. Sometimes you may change the scaling and it seems like it's off, and to get it back to the default view, just go here to the right menu or the right axis and double click in it, and then it automatically readjusts and resets your scale. Then we have our indicators, which we will go into in a moment. We have templates, which we can use later. We can nicely use alerts, which I use a lot. And what I've been spending hundreds of hours in is the replay function. So this is ideal for backtesting, for example, so you can reset your chart and then play it back. But I will go into this and give you a lot of tips on how to use it effectively as well. Just give you a first indication of what we have. Here we have our icon for the layout. So right now you can see, obviously, I only have one chart or one time frame. But if you click on this here, we have options. You can have only one, you can have it split, 2 horizontally, vertically, you can have 3 next to each other, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. So let's assume we want to have 4. We click on it, and now you can see we have 4 nice charts. And there are options that TradingView offers. So we click on it again. And then here you can see we have syncing options. You can sync the symbol. So if you pull up the US dollar yen or any other, let's assume we go back to the euro US dollar, we click on it, and then all will go back to the euro US dollar. If you have unticked it, you can have different ones. So for example, if we untick it, now we can click on the first one, for example, and we want to have Bitcoin maybe. We're going to make sure we are on all. So we get Bitcoin. And you can see now we only have Bitcoin here, the US dollar, euro US dollar here. We can have the S&P here, for example. And then maybe you want to have gold CFD here on the bottom right. So that is, if you want to have different ones, you need to untick the symbol. Interval means the time frame. So if you click on this, you can see all the different time frames are now 15 minutes. And if you click on, for example, the Bitcoin US dollar one and you go to the 4 hour, all the other ones will also default to the 4 hours. So that's how you can control the time frames and sync them. If you want to have different time frames across the different charts, then untick this interval. Crosshair, you can see if I untick it, you only have the crosshair in one area. But I find this very helpful because if you tick it, then suddenly you can see, even if I'm here on the top left in the Bitcoin area, you get the crosshair in all of the different charts as well. And what I find really helpful is that, for example, now I'm here on, you can see the time here at the black one, the black area where my crosshair is, 26 January 22 at 11 p.m. And you can see that you can compare this timestamp and the time across the different charts. So when you hover over a specific candle on Bitcoin, on the other charts, you will also see that it hovers to this same time frame or the same time spot. You can have time so that you will always see the same amount of time here across the different ones. So if you scale in and out, you can see it should adjust it automatically. For the most part, this works. You can see if I change something here, it will also change here on the other charts. And drawings, obviously, you can sync the drawing. So if you draw something in one area, it will also sync across the other charts as well. Then you can create different layouts, which are very helpful. So manage layouts, you can see this little arrow pointing down. You can make sure that autosave is on, very helpful. And then, for example, I want to load a chart layout. Or let's assume we want to save this first of all. So first of all, we can rename it. So this is currently called webinars, but we can rename it to YouTube, for example. We save it. And now you can see it has been saved. And we can see those are all my different layouts that I created. Video, unnamed, fits. So for example, we can jump to video. And you can see a new browser tab first of all opens. But you can see now we have a completely different view. Now we have a split screen with two charts. There are different indicators. And that is very, very helpful if you want to manage different layouts, for example. If you have different strategies or maybe different markets that you want to keep separate. So we can load chart layout again, then we go back to YouTube, and you can see we have back our 4 charts next to each other. So a really helpful thing if you want to keep your TradingView tidy. Settings are here, but you can also access it by just right-clicking on a chart and then go to settings here. You can have the full screen mode, which you can also access by Shift and E. I don't find this very helpful. I'm never using this actually. Here, this is what I use a lot. So take a snapshot. It's a camera icon, and I use it for many different reasons. When I make videos for YouTube, for example, I will just save the chart image. Also, when I do my backtesting, I will save the chart image of the trades that I have backtested. If you're using Edgewonk, our trading journal, you can just go to here, copy link to the chart image. And now when you paste this link, you can see we click here in the browser. I don't think you can see it. Yeah, now you can. Then we paste it. You can see now we get this link. And if I open it, you can see this is the TradingView view that we have saved. So in Edgewonk, you can just paste this link and then this will be saved in your Edgewonk trading journal as well. We go back to get our view. So I always grab charts. I always save them. I find this very, very helpful as well. And then here on the right-hand side, we have different things such as the watch list. So I am primarily a Forex trader. So I have added here all the Forex pairs that I'm watching. If you don't have a watch list, first of all, you can go here, create new watch list. Then we can call it, again, let's call it YouTube watch list. Then we click on save, and you can see nothing is here. But what do we want to watch? You click on the plus icon to add new symbols here. And then you can type in whatever. Maybe you want to have the Nifty 50. Maybe you want to have gold, Ethereum, Apple, and you can see. And by the way, you can type in anything here and then click on it, and it will be added here to your watch list. And then you can very nicely jump around it. Maybe you want to go back to Forex. Then you want to analyze your Forex pairs. You want to go back to your YouTube watch list. So this is a very nice way of keeping track of different markets. There are options. So if you click on the settings here, you can turn on the last, which is the last price value, the change in percentage as well. And then you can see you get a little bit more here as information. I don't use this. I don't find it super helpful. I just want to make sure that I have a way of quickly navigating around the different markets that I'm looking at. So Watchlist is very helpful. I use it always. I always have it open actually here on the site. You click on it again, it's gone. I use alerts a lot. So here you can see when you click on this alarm icon, this is where you have alerts. So let me maximize this. And by the way, if you want to have or pull up a chart, you first of all click it, then you see you have the blue box around it. And then here you click on toggle maximize chart, this icon, and then you can see you have it fully blown up. If you want to go back to the previous view, you just click it again and then you come back to it. So if you want to just blow up a specific chart, Bitcoin, US dollar, then we are just going to use this icon. By the way, I want to turn on again, I want to turn this on and this on. So, okay. So for alerts, there are many ways how to set alerts in TradingView. So first of all, you can see we have this crosshair now here. And when we follow the crosshair to the right, where the price axis is, you can see there's this plus icon. So if we click on this plus icon, we get this menu. And then you can put an alert for whatever price value you are currently hovering at. So you can see we are close to 4,000. Maybe you want to have a price alert there. And boom, you can see now it's orange. It is triggered or it is set. And it is ready to be activated. So when the market crosses this area, you will get a pop-up and a little bit of a sound. We can go to edit. So we right click on this horizontal line. We go to edit. And then you have some options here. First of all, this is the market. Then you want to have the condition. It is crossing. You can change it. You only want to get an alarm when it's crossing up, down, or so on and so forth. How often do you want to have an alert? Only once or every time this crosses? So if it's only once, then when the market crosses the line, you will get the sound, the trigger, and then the alert will disappear. But this will then stay on the chart. If you want to fine tune it, you can, by the way, override this here. So we want to have the alert when it hits 40,000. So is that 1, 2, 3? Okay. So then the alert will be precisely. Then you can have an expiration date. This is especially helpful when you have every time, but also for only once, I guess, when you want to have this alert go away. I always leave it on here and manage them later on manually, as I will show you. And then you have alert actions. Do you want to get notified on the app? If you have the TradingView app, you will get an alert there. This is the pop-up which I use. So there's a little pop-up and a sound. You can have an email, a webhook URL, which I have never used. And then here is the sound that you can choose from. You can name the alert, which I've never done. But let's see what happens. And then you have the message. Let's see what happens when this is. So we save it. And now you should see, here are our current alerts. You can see this is the alert on YouTube, or that we have just set. It is active. It's set at 40,000 Bitcoin US dollar and crossing. So what is really nice, so those are all my currently set alerts. So we can jump around them, and you can see we click on it, we get to the New Zealand CAD alert here. And that is a nice way of just seeing what are you currently looking at. I use the alerts in a way that I make my watch list once a week or twice a week. And I put the alerts at areas where I want to get notified. It doesn't mean automatically I will jump in this trade, but it is a way for me to organize it, to minimize the screen time so that I identify a specific level, for example, a breakout or a fake out level, a previous resistance and support. and I just want to get notified when the market gets there and then do my analysis further on. So this is how I use it. You have then here the different alerts. You can also go back to the previous alerts. So those are all the alerts that have been triggered recently. And then you can jump back on it and see, okay, what happened here, and so on and so forth. You can clear the alerts as well. You can even export them, which I've never done. And that is the alerts menu. However, there are so many options. For example, we will go into indicators in depth, but let's assume we have a moving average. We get it. And I will show you how to use moving average in a bit. But in TradingView, when you click on this moving average, right click, you can set an alert on the moving average, add alert on the MA. And then you can do the same. So what do we have? We have the moving average, 9 period. And we want to get notified when the market and the price action crosses the moving average. So now you can see we have set our alarm at the moving average. And now here's the moving average alert. Good example. We have an alert example. So we are triggering an alert on the Euro British Pound on the moving average. So the market has crossed it, and here we are. So this is a good example. This is how it looks in action, and this is what you will see if you have set it to the pop-up and with the sound. So, and you can use the moving the alerts on all the different indicators, by the way. So there are so many different options. It's a great feature, and I really highly recommend to check it out. Then there are other things like news. So if you are on the Euro British Pound, for example, then you get specifically pre-filtered news on the Euro and also on the British Pound. Here you can see there's also US news. So it's a very interesting way of staying within TradingView and getting everything you need. By the way, a good tip, right click on the chart, we go to settings, and then here under events, you can turn on the news. So show future economic events on the charts. We click on it, and now you can see this is happening. And what do we have here is we see what is happening in the future. Those are the news that are scheduled. So it is very important to know about news events because they can move the market quite a bit. And by having this right on your charts, you will always know, okay, there is a news event coming up. We can click on it and then we'll see what is it. Nationwide house price year on year. It is coming on the 1st of February, 14 or 2 p.m. We have the forecast number and the previous number. You can see this is orange. So the number, the color here is orange, which means it's a medium impact. Compared to here, unemployment rate, which is a high impact news event, it is red. And where do we have yellow? Do we have yellow? Yes, here we have yellow. So HICP flash numbers are yellow. They are low impact news. So this is how TradingView then shows you how much to expect. Is it going to move the market a little bit, a lot, or not too much at all? However, obviously there are always exceptions to this rule. And this is how you can find it in the events, settings, events, and that is how you use it. So we can turn it off for now. And this is our news event. So here, data window, I don't use this too much. I don't think there's too much value in it, or at least I have not found it. You can create hot lists, which I have not really used as well. So I cannot fully talk on this one, but I guess you can create different numbers. Here you can see that here you can go, for example, what is it? US dollar, USA, and then you can change between percentage gainers, gap losers, and then I guess that's like a filter tool for you to just find markets that have been moving, or yeah, whatever. Then we have a calendar, which I think is also quite helpful. It's very similar to the news events that I showed you, how to visualize future news events on the chart. So I don't think it adds too much. I think that having the future news events on the chart here at the bottom is already good enough. And then there are some social things like public chats, private chats, ideas, and streams. We can come back to this later. All right, so we have covered quite a bit. Let's move now to the drawing tool, and I will show you how to use the drawing menu in TradingView. So now let's focus on this drawing tool, and TradingView offers a lot of drawing tools and a lot of great customizations and tips that you can use. So the drawing tool, there are different categories. So trend line tools, you can see, you can open it, and then you have trend lines, arrows, rays, and so on. I use trend lines the most. And by the way, you can click on this star icon here and then something cool happens. You will get this, whatever you're going to call it, the favorite bar, or the quick access bar. So this is now always going to be on your charts and you can just easily access it. Let me just change the color and I will show you how to do that in a moment. But this is a great way of customizing the TradingView based on the tools that you're using. So I use the trend line tool a lot. So I will always have the trend line here in my quick access bar. And then you can click on it. And once you click on it on the first chart, you can see you have this tool available. A little bit of a tip, people ask me a lot. If you click or hold Shift on your keyboard, you will get a horizontal or at least a straight line. So you can see you have your flat line, you have the 45 degree, 90 degree. So that is a very nice way of having straight lines. And then once you click it again with your left mouse, it is placed now. And when you click on it again, you activate it. And now you have customization. You can change the line tool color by clicking on this pen icon. And then you can see you can change the color. You can also change the opacity. So you want to make it not as bright, you want to make it a little bit less clear, then you can control that here. You can control the thickness here with the line tool width tool. So you have options between 1, which is very small, and then we have 4 pixel, which is bigger. You can have a dotted line, a dashed line, or just a regular line. Here we have the settings menu. So you can fine tune the coordinates. Here you can also access the line color. Here you can see you want to have an arrow maybe at the left side, or you want to have an arrow at the right side. You have extend left. So if we click on this line, you can see it extends left infinitely. The same is true for right. You have a middle point, which you can do here. So you can see where's the middle point of this trend line. You can have the price label. So what happens here now, you can see now we don't see anything. And now show price labels. Now we have here 83987. When we exit this, you can see that if you have, for example, multiple trend lines, you can very nicely see where are the different trend lines here marked. So this is this option here for price labels. You can have price ranges, so you can see in this case, obviously it's a flat line, so you don't have anything here, but let's assume you have a diagonal trend line. You can see how many pips is it rising, how much is the percentage, and you get some interesting stats out of it. Same for bars range, so how many bars it is. It spans 112 candlesticks. Show the date and the time, so this this trend line goes on for 6 days and 16 hours. The distance, then you have the angle as well, which is kind of interesting. Especially if you want to compare different trend lines. If you see a trend with a declining trend, that might be interesting as well. And you can choose to only show, always show the stats or not. So a lot of customization. You can write something on it. So again, because we are so creative, YouTube trend line, and then you can see what is it. How would you use it? For example, you could say this is a daily, a higher time frame trend line. So you could have that as a qualifier so that you know from which time frame is it coming, and that could be helpful for you to customize your experience. The coordinates to fine tune it, and the visibility. For example, now we are on the 1 hour, but let's assume we don't want to have this trend line on anywhere between the 1 minute and the 59 minutes. So anything below the 1 hour chart, we don't want to have it. And yet see what happens. Now we untick it, we go to K. And if we go now to the 15 minute, let's make this red so that we know about it. If we go now to the 15 minute, you can see when we zoom out, this trend line is not here anymore. But if we go back, you can see it pops up right again. So if you want to customize it, you don't want to have certain things on specific trend lines, time frames, that is the way to go. And then you have visual order, so you can bring it back and front. You can copy it, Control C. And that is also, you can use it on the keyboard, which I actually use a lot. So you click Control and C, and then you untick it and you can click anywhere and you can see Control V brings then a duplicate of it. So this is very nice if you want to create parallel trend lines or channels, for example. That's a good way to do that and to achieve that. Right click again, we go to settings. Oh no, we have done that. So here you can see we have syncing, no syncing in the layout. You can hide it, unhide it. You can also lock it. So now you cannot move it. So you can see now we cannot move it around anymore. And here is our alert. So we can create an alert on the trend line. So assuming we have drawn our trend line, Let's just, and by the way, you can make it shorter or longer. If you click on the endpoints, then you can drag it around. So we have the trend line here, and we want to get an alert. So we add an alert only once, and we want to have it crossing down only. If the market crosses below the trend line, then we want to get an alert. And now this is set. You can see here's the alert icon, and this is triggered now. By the way, if you want to get rid of everything, you can just right click on your chart, and then you can remove drawings, and then everything is gone. Okay. If you do this by accident, you can click Ctrl and Z, and everything comes back on your chart. And that is it for the trend lines. And this is basically how you can create or manage most of the drawings here. For example, an arrow or horizontal, this is used for classic support and resistance. So we have activated it. You can see this is blue. And now it is here. And by the way, why does this stay in drawing mode? So if you don't have this activated, what happens is, I will just show you. By default, I think it is this way, and you draw a trend line. And if you want to draw a new trend line, you have to select it again. But TradingView offers this option here, stay in drawing mode. You click it, and now you can keep drawing trend lines as much as you want, and TradingView doesn't force you to click it. If you want to unclick it or get out of this drawing mode, you just right click on your mouse, and then you're out of it, and then you can use it again as you want. But I always have this ticked on because I find it very, very helpful. So the way I use it is I have my Fibonacci's, for example, and then, for example, when you have the Fibonacci's, there are also so many customization, and it always works the same way. So once you have drawn something on your charts, you get this bar, and then under settings, you have all the different customization and settings. So you want to have a trend line, you want to change your Fibonacci levels. Maybe you don't need the 2.618, you untick it, it's gone. You can change different colors. Maybe you want to have the 100 area red, and you can see this is now happening as well. So there are so many customizations, and I use it the most. How I use it is I have always created my menu, which I have now deleted for the sake of this video, but you can then do it and really customize TradingView for your own needs. They also have a text tool. So for example, if you want to write something, hello YouTube, then you have it here. You can use it for labels. For example, if you want to keep track of support and resistance, supply and demand areas, accumulation, distribution, whatever it is. Or what our students are often doing is they use it for their watch list and for their trading plans. So they use it, for example, what do you need? MA cross, then higher time frame pin bar. What am I looking for? Short if and then you have it on your chart. And that's a good way of actually keeping track of your trading plans. So you do your analysis on the weekends, and then instead of writing it on a different piece of paper, you just keep it on your charts. Make sure to always save it, and you save it by clicking here the cloud icon. Now it is saved. And that is one way of using the drawing tool. And obviously there are so many customizations. Again, here you have icons for various things, whatever. So yeah, there are a lot of options here for the drawings. Here are some interesting things so you can measure it. For example, when you click on this ruler, and you can measure from here to here, for example, and then you'll see we have 166 bars, 10 days, 22 hours. You get the total volume, and that is if you want to measure a specific range for whatever reason. You can zoom in and out, which I don't use. You can see I have no idea how to use this. The way I use it is on your mouse. If you're using a mouse, you can just use your mouse wheel to zoom in and to zoom out. I find this a little bit more helpful than this plus or minus. You can see it pretty much does the same trick, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I prefer the mouse wheel because it's just super intuitive, and it works just very well. Then stay in drawing mode, I use a lot. Lock all drawing tools, I don't use that. Sometimes what I use is when I've done an analysis, and let's assume we just have some trend lines on it, and this option is very helpful. You can hide all the drawing tools. So you can see now you get to look at the pure price action again, and you can bring it back. So that is very, very helpful as well. New drawings are replicated to all charts in the layout. This is also what I use. So if you are having multiple layouts, maybe you have the Euro British Pound here on the top left, on the right, on the 1 hour, then here on the 15 minute, 60 minute, then if you draw it here, then it will be replicated to all the different layouts. We can actually do that. We have the symbol. We don't need the interval because I want to show you that. Let's clear it first of all. Let's clear it here as well. And we have the 1 hour, the 15 minute, then here let's assume the 4 hour, and here we have the daily. So in theory, let's see, if we draw something here, we get it here as well. I'm not sure why I don't see it here. But we could investigate it. So there's something you need to, okay, we have unticked it here in minutes, so good example. Now we untick, we tick minutes and it appears here as well. So we have it back and it should be here. I'm not sure why it's not here. Okay, now we see it, it is here, but it's a daily time frame, so we don't see it that clear. So you can see this is how it is used. I always have that because if I want to analyze a specific market and I want to have a trend line or support resistance, I want to make sure it's across all the layouts. And that's it for the most part here on the menu. Let's move on to the indicators. When it comes to indicators, you can really do a lot here. So first of all, you find all the indicators here. You can click on this icon and then you see you have a lot of options. So favorites, again, you can, for example, go to the technicals, and here are all the different indicators that TradingView has. And again, here's the star icon. It works exactly the same. You add to favorites, you click on it, and then it is added here to the favorite bar, and you can then easily get it. If you're using a specific indicator often, you can find it then here, make it more accessible. You can also find an indicator if you just type it in. For example, we want to have moving averages, and there are some things you can see. We have the moving average here, the exponential moving average, and then here are just so many different options. If you scroll down, there comes a part where it says community scripts, and those are scripts, moving averages that the community, which are basically users of TradingView, have coded and made available here for the public. But let's assume we want to stay at the moving averages first, and I will show you some interesting things. So we click on it first, and then here you can see at the top left it says the moving average has been added. So this is here, for example, if we want to add another one, I will show you, just type in BB, we get Bollinger Bands, and you can see those are now all the different indicators that we have on this chart. But let's focus on the moving averages. First of all, again, you can hide it and unhide it. You have your settings here. And then again, you have options. First of all, you have the time frame. So right now it says chart. So the EMA is using the data from the 1 hour time frame. But one thing that is really helpful and I use a lot is, for example, you want to have the higher time frame moving average on the 1 hour chart. How do you do that? You click here and then you go to 1 day. And now you can see the blue line has changed significantly. By the way, let's make it a little bit thicker. So we go to style, then here's the coloring, and we can also make it a little bit more bold. And you can see now, this is the moving average that comes from the daily chart. So you have your daily moving average on the 1 hour chart, which is really, really helpful if you want to have like a multi-time frame analysis without leaving or having to leave the time frame. So this is how you control here. If you want to have the 1 hour back, you just go to chart. Then you can control the length. Let's say we want to have a 50 period EMA. We do that and you can see it automatically adjusts. You can have the source. So what is the indicator using? Is it using the default close, high, low, open, and so on? So you can control that here as well. Style, you can control the color and the thickness. Price labels, again, values. I just leave it as it is on the defaults. Visibility, again, you can untick it. So for example, if we untick it now, you can see it's gone because we are on the 1 hour chart, and this makes it disappear between or on any hourly chart. But we want to have it, obviously. Then again, you can click on it, and whoops, that's the candlestick. And you have a few options here. So we can create an alert, but you can also create an indicator or a strategy on the EMA, which is very helpful when we use, for example, the stochastic I will show you in a moment. you can add the indicator to the entire layout. So if you have multiple charts, it will be added automatically to all the charts, which I find very, very helpful. Then you don't have to replicate it. You can visualize, order the order, or you can change the order. You can bring it to the front, to the back. You can move it up and down as well, which is more helpful with other indicators. I will show you that. You can access the source code if you want to do some customization. If you have added multiple indicators, you can see we go to the object tree. And now you can see for this market, we have the moving average and the Bollinger Band, but it is hidden. So if you have multiple indicators or trend lines, it will appear here as well. Then you can see this is in the object tree. You can also access it by just right-clicking in the chart. And then here is the object tree. And you can see this is where it is. So how do we get rid of this? Here actually, okay. Here's the icon for the object tree. So those are the layers, and you can hide it and unhide it as well. By the way, if you right click on a chart, you have this remove drawing tool, and the same is true for remove indicators. I like that in the TradingView has separated the two, because I will usually keep my indicators on, but I will periodically remove the drawings to just start with fresh drawings. So this is very helpful. And those are the most important tips. You can hide it, unhide it obviously, and so on and so forth. But let's look at the options when you have an indicator that is below the price action. So for example, let's look at the stochastic. We add it, and then you can see it opens here below. And again, you have customization options. So we go to settings, and you have different stylings. So let's remove the background, and let's make the lines a little bit thicker so they stand out and are easier to read. We zoom in. And you can see now we have a stochastic. What you can do now is you can add an indicator on an indicator, which is quite interesting. Maybe it's even more interesting on the RSI. Actually, let me do that. So we have our indicator here, the RSI. Let me just make sure we have only the standard RSI settings. So we remove everything except for the RSI line. That's the RSI 14 period. You can see it here under inputs, chart, RSI length, 14 period. Okay. So now let's add an indicator on the RSI. And what would make sense? A moving average, for example. So now we have the moving average, the blue line on the indicator. We can make it a little bit bigger so they can see it better. And you can see, now we can see when is the price above or below the RSI on the moving average. So is it above the moving average? It means that the market is trending higher and accelerating. Is it below? The downtrend is accelerating. So this is a very, very nice thing. And you can get really creative with your indicators and with the different options that TradingView offers you. And then you can add alerts on the indicator as well, and all the different customization here under settings. You can change different things. Change the coloring, inputs you can change as well. So we want to have the RSI from the daily time frame. And you can see this is now the daily time frame RSI on the 1 hour chart. Really, really helpful as well here. And that's it for the indicators. Obviously, there are just so many indicators. You can dive into this, but the point of this video is just showing you how to navigate around it, how to make the best use of it. Maybe one thing that I can show you, bring back the RSI, there's this option to move it around. So some people want to have it above it. So move to, where is it? Move to existing pane above. So you can see now it is right at the charts, which is not super helpful. Now you can move it as well. New pane above. Now it is above. So you have to move it into the chart and above the chart. Now it is above the chart. So if you prefer, for whatever reason, to have it this one, you move it back below, and then we have to make it one more step, move it below the chart. So if you want to have it, that is an option as well. So this is how you can very nicely manage your indicators. Templates we looked already about. We looked at our alerts as well. And now let's take a look at the replay tool. So the replay tool is essentially a backtesting tool in TradingView. You can, for example, let's scroll back in history, and then let's assume we want to backtest the Euro British Pound on the 1 hour chart. We just click on the replay icon, and I'm not sure, I think the backtesting option or feature is not available in all TradingView plans, but it is definitely in premium. So then you can see once we click it, we get this vertical blue line. We just click anywhere on our chart, and that is where then the market will be cut off. And you can see now we are here. And now you have this menu. And now you can go back, you can go forward only. So if you click on this play icon or this forward, you can see then we get one extra candle. The market will show us the next candle. You can see this is how it goes. And you can go one candle by another. If you click the play icon, the market will just, or TradingView will just play it forward. Here's where you can control the speed. So you can see one candle every 1 second. If we click this now, you get one candle every 1 second. And you can control the speed, go up and down. Now it goes very fast. And now it goes much slower. So this is a very nice feature. And I use the backtesting quite a bit for my own backtesting, but also for YouTube videos when I mentor the students. It's just a nice way of replaying price action. There are some limitations when using different time frames. So I hope that TradingView will add on the replay function, because it's just such a great tool. You can certainly jump around the different time frames, but I feel that there are a little bit more things that they could do better, but let's see where they take it from here. In general, this is a great add-on. I'm really happy that they have it. So for example, if you go now 4 candles on the 4 hour, this is where we started. If you go back to the 1 hour, you can see we get extra candles as well. I don't think it works when you have side-by-side charts. So let's actually do that. We have the 1 hour here and the 4 hour here. So I don't think it works across different layouts. You can see we unfortunately don't get it. It would be nice to have it that you can replay multiple candlesticks, but multiple chart layouts, but currently it is not possible. So TradingView, if you're watching this, this would be amazing add-on and really take the backtester to the next level. So yeah, that would be my wish to TradingView. So backtesting is really, really helpful. Obviously, you can add all your indicators to it and then use the backtesting like a real environment. I always, when I find a backtesting trade, I would just go here, save chart image, and then you can see right here, it just downloads it to your downloads folder or wherever you have specified it. And then I will come back to the downloads folder later and I will look through the screenshots, sort them into the right areas, move it to Edgewonk or into my archives. So this is a very nice way of using the backtester. If you want to jump to a different time, there's no way to go back with the backtester, but you can click on this icon and then you can jump to a different time spot. If you want to leave the backtesting, click here and then you are asked, do you really want to exit the replay mode? And then you are back to real life trading environment. And that's the backtester. Now let's take a look at what happens when we right click on the chart and what options do we have here. So we right click and then we get this menu. First of all, you can change the light and the dark theme. A lot of people are looking for that. So dark theme, you click on it and then you can see everything is looking very sweet and dark. We also have then different options. You can move the chart back and forth. You can lock the vertical cursor. So you can see this is now here and it is locked in this position. Not sure why you would do that, but it is an option. We can remove drawing. I showed you that. Indicators as well. Object tree, very helpful as well if you want to have an overview of what is actually on your chart and manage it. Alerts can be added right here as well, wherever you are with your mouse. You can just click here and then the alert will be added for that price level. I don't use TradingView to trade. You can connect it to a few brokers, I think. There used to be an option, strategy test, a trading panel. I think here are, you can use it for paper trading. You can connect it to different brokers, but I only use it for my charting analysis. You can use the Pine editor, but let's go back here to the settings. And now we can customize our experiments. So again, first of all, maybe I was too fast. Right click, then here at the bottom, settings. And now we have options over options. Again, you can change the coloring. So maybe we don't like red and green. Maybe we want to have, for whatever reason, blue candles. We can do that. And now, yeah, slightly blue. And maybe we want to have white candles instead of red. Now we have that. So we can apply to all the charts. Then you can see, apply to all. And hopefully it is now across all the different layouts. Go back to settings. Then you have your options, high-low price line, you can see that as well, average closing price as well. You can have the bid and the ask for spread as well. And you can change your time zone. So wherever you are in the world, you can change the time zone so that here at the bottom, you'll see that it syncs to whatever it is currently in your time zone, which is very helpful. You can also choose to sync it to your broker time if that is helpful for you as well. Status line, there are just so many options here. You can play around with it. You can see, just click on it. You can see status line is referring to this one here next to the market. You can have your open, high, low, close values if you want to have that. The bar change, how much is the current bar moving up or down. Show the market is open or not. So you can see we have this green icon, which means it's open. Now the S&P, for example, or the stock markets in the West should be closed. So when we go, for example, to the Coinbase icon, you can see now it is different. Now the market is closed because it's the NASDAQ and it is not trading at those hours. So this is actually quite helpful. Where do we have it? Show open the market status. So this is very, very helpful. For Forex, obviously it will be open most of the time except for the weekends. So we have it here and we go to settings. And yeah, indicator titles, I always have this ticked on. I find it very helpful. You have a list of all the indicators that are here. You can have the indicator arguments, which I would always activate as well, so you can see which moving average is it, and the indicator values, which is also very, very helpful. You can see it is the values of the indicator are blue, which corresponds to what is the color of the moving average. Scales, obviously, again, so many different options. Just click around with it and you will see what they do. Appearance, you can have the grid lines. You can see those are the grid lines, horizontal and vertical. If you want to have them a little bit more clear, you can see we can turn it to white. Then you have very bright. You can turn it completely off, remove the opacity to 0, and then they are gone. I just have it very slightly. It just gives me a little bit more reference. Session breaks. So this is quite helpful. Session breaks. Let's make them yellow. And you can see those are the session breaks. For Forex, it's very interesting to see where's the Asian session, where's the New York, where's the European. But I think this one is not the session indicator. This is the day break indicator. So you get a new break on every single day. There are indicators. For example, when you go to indicator and type in session, then you will get sessions on a chart, sessions Asia, London, New York, and so on and so forth. So that is how you do it. And here session breaks means in this case, it's the daily break. If you go to a higher time frame, this should be then the weekly break and so on. You can have watermark on your charts. So for example, now if we tick it, you can see very slightly. Then you see what is the market and the time frame. So this is the Euro US dollar 1 hour, and that is in the background. I find this a little bit distracting, so for me it's always turned off. Navigation buttons, I never actually changed this, and okay, this is this one here. So I have only activated when you hover over with your mouse. So what happens is when I go here, you can see you can zoom in and out, but I find it not super helpful. So for me, it's most of the time not visible. Trading, if you connect TradingView with your broker, then this is where you go. And events is where you can turn on and off the events for your markets and to see what is going to happen in the future. And this is then on your charts. So yeah, very helpful as well. Lots of options here that you have on the right click menu option. And I think that's really it for this tutorial. Now you should be able to use TradingView. All the principles are then the same, whichever trading tool you use. You can customize it, you can set alerts on it, you can find any indicator, change the values on it, you can use the backtesting, you can use here your watch lists and your alerts very effectively. And that will give you a good head start on TradingView and how to use it and customize it to your own personal needs. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And until the next time, happy trading.